Akame got killed. Why do you give me a cliffhanger like this? Seriously, why would you give me a cliffhanger that is this massive? We have a nuclear explosion, pretty much, from Bull's Tegu, and Leone and Akame are in this explosion. They got caught up in it. That conclusion of this episode, man, oh my god. If there's ever been a point that I've been watching this series that I wanted to read the manga, it would be this time. Because I want to know so bad of what is about to happen. I really, really do. Because with that, it makes me think that Leone is going to die. Let me explain why I think Leone is going to die. There was a lot of, like, subtle death flags in this episode. For one thing, Najinda specifically says in this episode, saying, like, if this continues on, we're going to have a casualty. And that word makes me think that there is going to be someone that's going to die on our side. And to see how Leone loses her arm this episode, like, she loses her fucking arm. As soon as I saw that in this episode, I thought she was dead. I thought she got killed right there. I really did. But then her arm fell, and I'm like, oh, fuck. It just, at the very least, it's just her arm. I mean, she could possibly get a new arm, like Najinda. She could possibly get a new arm, or she may be able to reattach her arm if something happens. But either way, I thought she was going to die right there. And she didn't. I was like, thank God, thank God. Leone is one of my favorite characters, and I did not want to see her die. And then this ending part where Bowles commits suicide, he blows himself up. I know for a fact Akame is not going to die. That is obvious. The series is called Akame Got Killed. Akame is not going to die from that explosion. But that doesn't necessarily say it'll stop Leone from dying. Most likely, Leone might try to grab Akame and save her, and she might take the full impact of the explosion. That's what I want to theorize right now. And if she is dead, I want to be so bad. I want to be so bad. Anyways, Kurome, in this episode, damn, she is freaking powerful and merciless. I mean, she went out of her way to cut off Leone's arm when she wasn't paying attention. You see her arm just go flying off instantly. That was just so freaking shocking because you did not see it coming. Her character personality has a lot of mystery behind it. I want to know more about it. We get a little bit of subtle hints in this episode with the connections of Kurome and Akame in this episode. Like, we find out this childhood friend that died a long time ago, Kurome is now using this childhood friend's corpse as a puppet. And that's like her main bodyguard she is using. Oh yes, and another thing that's brought up, supposedly Kurome's Tegu can only control 8 corpses, from what I understand from this episode. And it seems like she can have an infinite stockpile of corpses, if I'm correct, but she can only have 8, like, corpses or working underneath her Tegu at one given time. So if this is true, it's still pretty fucking overpowered for her Tegu to be able to control these corpses, especially when these corpses can continue to walk around even when their head is gone. Like, in this episode, when you see Najinda fighting that person, like her old commander or whatever, and you see how she rips his head off, and he gets up again, I'm like, oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. That was just brutal. It was really brutal. Thank God there's no censors in this series, because if there was censors, that entire screen would have been blacked out. It would have blacked out with that. Oh yes, and there was another sort of death flag in this episode with Mine. I thought Mine was gonna die in this episode too. I mean, you see Mine get eaten by this fucking, like, undead frog from Kurome, and, you know, supposedly what Kurome said is that this frog's digestive system, its stomach, has acid that will kill her very fast, and in it, we see her blow and blast herself out of this frog's stomach. Thank God she didn't die, but still, with how close Night Raid is getting to death certain characters, it makes me believe that there is going to be a massive character death in this fight. There probably will be. Now, Esdeath is seen in this episode for maybe about a minute at maximum, and we find out what exactly is going on with her party. Supposedly, Esdeath has ran into these gang of thieves. That's exactly what was happening in this episode, and so you have Esdeath and freaking demonic justice gonna kill everybody, leave about 2 or 3 alive, and then Esdeath is probably gonna do her extreme torture on them to find out some information. So that's exactly what's going on right now. So thank God, you know, they're not currently heading back to where Najinda, Night Raid, and everybody else is at, because if they did, Night Raid would pretty much be fucked. Now, Wave, we get to see a little bit of Wave also in this episode. Supposedly Wave has survived, he's not dead, which I highly doubt Wave would die anyways, because, I mean, like I said, his character is too similar to Tatsumi, and his entire perspective on the enemy side, for instance, with, you know, the Jaegers, his character has a lot of importance, because he is the character that we can look at that's like Tatsumi, like our main male character, but on the enemy side. So I knew Wave was going to be fine. I just didn't realize how damaged he was. He is pretty damaged in this episode. You see how he states, like, he would have died if he didn't use his Tegu, and he, like, tries to get up, and he can't because I'm guessing maybe his bones are shattered, which is pretty freaking ridiculous. Now, the episode, for the most part, it was just a very brutal, action-y episode. I love it a lot, and the way we get to see the, like, death flags all over this episode, it has me worried. It really has me worried. Hopefully next week, Leone is not dead. I hope not. It kind of sucks, though, Bowles is probably going to be dead, because I actually like his character. Out of all the Jaegers, he's one of the characters I like the most, besides Kurome and probably Wave. Or Esdes. Those are the only characters I technically like, and to see Bowles probably dying, it's upsetting. As we know, if two Tegu users go off against each other, if they both fight, it will be a battle to the death. That's the big question I have to wonder. I've actually been meaning to ask this question for a long time. As it was stated a very long time ago, earlier on in this series, we found out if two Tegu users square off, one of them will die. Why is there a rule like that? Like, exactly what causes one Tegu user to die? I mean, is it like something else going on here? Is it just saying because if two square off, usually that most likely one of them will die? Or is there something else going on here? I mean, why does there always have to be a death if two Tegu users square off? I mean, hopefully Bowles is technically alive because I like his character. Now, the animation, for the most part, I felt like the animation was really good, and we get to see a little bit of rage from Najinda this episode, for instance, when she has to destroy her old friend and destroy his corpse. That entire scene, when you see her, like, get angry and that still frame pops up, that just, like, wow. Her character, man. She is deadly when she is serious. And this actually goes into the other factor of this episode, Susanoo. Oh my god. Did you see that Susanoo character design? Oh my god. That Susanoo character design looked like a fucking badass. I mean, did you see that character design? That was awesome. And we find out that this ability of Susanoo, he actually takes the life force out of, like, his master, for instance, you know, Najinda, and this ability supposedly can only be used 3 times per master, and if it's used 3 times, the master will die, because, you know, the Tegu steals the life force to transform into whatever that is. Necessarily, though, I wonder exactly how long that transformation lasts for, you know, the life force that he stole from Najinda. That's a big question I have. Will it last for like an hour? Can it last for a couple minutes? Can it last for a day? That's the question I'm wondering right now with this power, because that power is pretty freaking overpowered. Did you see what he did to that mega danger class demon? Like, holy god. So tell me your thoughts in the comments below. How did you feel about this episode of Akame got killed? Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? What was your favorite moments about it? And overall, how do you feel about Leone, Akame, and Bowles being caught up in that explosion at the end of this episode? Tell me your thoughts. Love you all so much. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.